This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
All right, nerds. We are here for yet another episode of the Nerd Hat podcast.
What
What are we talking about today, guys?
Is
that what that is? I've been hearing him humming this at our home. Now I know what it's from.
Yeah, it's also in the movies. If you saw the movies from the 2000, the ones with Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Like that.
Really?
Yeah, that music is at the beginning of those movies. So definitely the first one. I don't know about the two sequels, but they do a variation on it for those, which I thought was cool. But it originated with the 1990s X-Men TV show, which we are technically not covering this week. We are covering the much newer continuation of that show, X-Men 97.
What's the 97 for?
That's what year the last season finished airing.
1997.
So we're just picking up from there, basically.
Just a side comment. We have one of our children with us who is going snack crazy. So that's what you hear.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to go to sleep yet. So she's a guest once again. And I was listening to an older episode not too long ago, and she was a newborn in that episode. So basically almost the entire life of the podcast, at different points have been holding Alma. Tartar. And so she's occasionally chimed in on our podcast over the years.
Damn it.
So I was looking at, I think there's a handful of drafts that never got published, but we're coming in at, this is episode 111
Guys,
for our
that's
podcast.
So exciting.
It's pretty dang cool.
Wow.
I'd say.
111.
Considering your average podcast doesn't make it past episode 6, which I have 2 podcasts that didn't make it past episode 6, so I know how that. Granted, I could always come back and pick them up and continue them, but the initial run was less than 6 or less on 2 of my other ventures. But this one has stuck with it, due in no small part to my partner in crime, Mr. William Thomas Boyer, and my most recent partner in podcast crime, but longtime partner in life crime, Laura.
Life crime.
Again, I don't know what to say now. I just don't want to follow up with that.
If I was going to commit a crime, I'd do it with you.
Absolutely not. I would stop you. I would take pictures, but I would stop you.
I probably wouldn't do it in the first place.
No, you really
know me
wouldn't.
well enough.
We would really be roles with
unless it was civil disobedience.
Oh my gosh.
That might be. If it was civil disobedience, then perhaps.
So maybe we should talk about the movie.
Remember that time we
at you guys.
Yeah, that's true. We only got about 30 minutes here. We're trying to keep this nice, short and sweet. Tonight,
okay.
We should dive into the X-Men. All right. So I'm going to read a little blurb here about X-Men 97. It is an American animated television series created by Beau DeMayo. How's that for a name? I wonder if the full name is Beauregard DeMayo. I don't know if that. Anyway, Beau DeMayo for the.
I wanted to name one of our sons that.
Beau
by
DeMayo.
The way. No, Beau. I just thought it was really cute.
Beauregard Best.
Yeah, Beau Best. Didn't happen.
Anyway, Beau DeMayo created this for the streaming service Disney Plus and is based on the Marvel Comics superhero team, the X-Men. It is a revival, as we said, of the X-Men, the animated series, which ran from 1992 to 1997 originally, continuing the story of the X-Men who face new challenges following the loss of their leader, Professor X. So I did not watch much of the original series, I have to say, but I'm gathering that at the end of the final season, he was assassinated. Will, do you know that?
Yes, he was assassinated, but then aliens came and took his body away and saved him. So for all intents and purposes, the world thinks he's dead, but he's not.
Okay.
Spoilers.
So I haven't gotten to that part yet in this season. I made it through episode 4 and a little bit of episode 5 in the preparation. I meant to make it through the entire first season, didn't quite get there. But Will
We need to stop
has
the
made it all the
podcast
way
right
through.
now so you can finish that episode.
So I can finish.
Yes,
Spoiler
episode
warning,
5.
Richard. So I'm going to be a little bit, once we get past episode 4, I'm going to be a little bit the same boat as Laura. I won't know what's going on.
Wow.
Well, let me put it this way. Episode 5 is the mid-season climax, and everything is downhill after episode 5. By downhill, I mean in a good way. I mean it really picks up. I mean that
It
it's
goes
a
fast.
snowball effect.
It goes, either it gets rocket boosters and goes uphill faster, or it goes downhill to a satisfying crash.
Again, I don't know how to comment.
So
I'm lost.
So season 1, only 5 episodes? Is that how it worked?
No, I think it's like 8 or 12 episodes. I forget right now, but I'm gonna say 12 or something close to that.
Let me see what your old IMDb says.
Maybe 10.
Let's see. So season 1 had 10 episodes, yes, and then they have released the first episode of season 2.
They have?
Apparently.
Huh.
So Will didn't get to season 2. So you finished season 1. Oh wait. Oh, that's weird. It's got it listed here on IMDb, but there's no description. Maybe it hasn't come out yet.
I wouldn't think so.
Could we talk about the first episode so I know what's happening?
All right. So as we pick up, according to IMDb, season 1, episode 1, Cyclops races to find the source of a new anti-mutant technology. So, Will, do you want to start off talking about what you thought about that episode?
A year has passed. Jean Grey is pregnant.
Oh, yes.
Whose baby is it?
I
know.
Surprise, it's Logan's baby. No.
So,
Logan always wanted a little bub
Ew.
to call his own.
I don't like this episode. I don't like this episode.
We just started. Did you like the X-Men movies, like the ones with the Hugh Jackman back in the day?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then you might like this series then. Give us a chance to talk to you
guys,
about it.
I like X-Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you
just doesn't like us. That's what the problem is.
No, I just don't. I think I'm just tired. It's been a day.
We did have a bunch of yelling kids like less than half an hour ago.
I don't think we should have a parenting podcast because I don't think we know what we're doing. However, I think we have a lot of good stories.
That's true.
And my goodness, we would have things to say. Anyway, back to this first episode.
I can help you with that podcast. I have a name. Well, let's get back to X-Men.
Yeah, so I was having not watched the original series, obviously I was a little surprised to find out that Xavier had been assassinated by a former, I think it said, was it CIA agent or something akin to that, an intelligence officer of some sort had killed,
I believe.
Yeah, had killed him, and but was not aware of the aliens taking his body away. It's like so spoiler warnings for myself as well. Does that come into play later in season 1?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that makes me want to, which I see on the thumbnail. I saw him pop up on the thumbnail. So I was like, okay, he comes back, which doesn't surprise me.
Well, basically what I was trying to say earlier about everything snowballing after episode 5, everything before episode 5 is just, oh, the X-Men are back. Episode 5 onward is, the X-Men are back.
They back for real. Now, one surprise in the I think this comes out in the first episode, if not the first, then definitely the first 2. We find out I believe it's towards the end of the first episode, that Magneto is now, according to the will and testament, the last will and testament of Charles Xavier, Charles Xavier's home, where the X-Men live, their headquarters, as well as the leadership of the X-Men, has been bequeathed to Charles Xavier's friend Magneto.
But he's the bad guy. Why would he do that?
Well, it's complicated because he's always been a complicated bad guy because he's motivated at the end of the day to protect mutants. That's a lot of his motivation.
Is he gay?
No, he's Jewish.
No, he's not gay.
Shalom.
But-
No, he's not gay. He's
But yes,
Jewish.
he is Jewish.
My bad.
Like if you remember in X-Men that came out in 2000, at the very beginning, you have a scene that takes place during the Holocaust.
That was very interesting.
Yeah,
That
which
was
I
very
think was
interesting.
also part of this Magneto's storyline, like from the 90s
Absolutely.
series.
Yes,
And-
he was a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah, and obviously, if it takes place, this continuation of it is still taking place in the 90s, so the timing still fits. He wouldn't be too old.
What is it, buddy?
Obviously, if they did a reboot now and tried to have it take place now, then that part wouldn't work,
Yeah.
timing wise. But anyway, but he ends up, which Scott Summers is not happy with at all at first, and but Magneto ends up running the show there with the X-Men. He has to earn back their trust, convince them that he genuinely wants to uphold Charles's vision for the X-Men. And so far, through episode 4 and 5, he seems to be trying to do that.
Oh yeah.
But Will, you can tell me whether that continues or not. Because Magneto's the kind of person, like, if he gets upset enough, he could flip and go the other direction.
Yeah. Well, and so what that happens. So that happens.
Okay.
But for very good reason. This season of X-Men 97, all comes to a boiling point at episode 5. We are following the comic books, which, if anybody understands the comic books, we know who Nathan grows up to be, and which would be Scott and Jean's son, and he does show up as an adult in this series.
I had a feeling he would come back.
As a matter of fact, he's been in previous seasons of X-Men. Scott and Jean just didn't know it was their son. That's how time travel works anyway.
What's his name?
Okay, well, maybe don't spoil that part for me yet.
Okay, I won't.
Okay.
Well, their son,
want
their
to be
son's, their son,
spoiled.
the game they named the son. The name they gave the son was Nathan.
Right, which he does not go by in the future.
But we get to episode
Rebellious.
we get to episode 3, like some big revelations happen. We find out that, and this is definitely a spoiler, but we find out that the Jean Grey that Scott, well, actually, that's left a little nebulous at the end, but the Jean Grey that Scott is having the baby with, we find out, dun, 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 is a clone.
Ew. Ew.
And that this
Wait, hey, hold on. Don't
this
give her more chocolate.
this evil
Don't give her more
character
chocolate.
named
She's had
Sinister,
enough.
this evil character named Sinister, at some point, in some unknown point in the past, cloned the real Jean Grey, and their memories somehow have kind of blurred together eventually, so that neither one of them is entirely sure when that happened, when the switch happened.
Ew.
Because they both have each other's memories.
Wait, so the clone thinks.
The one thing we do know for
Wait,
sure is,
hold on. The clone thinks that she's real.
well, the clone is real. She's a real person, and she did give birth to their son. So we know that much, at least, that she carried the son to term. So it was at least 9 months to a year before the switch happened. But they don't know for sure how far back beyond that it was. But that's a big reveal early in the season, that she's a clone. You're like, what? Said what? And eventually that clone, like, for a little bit is like under Sinister's mind control,
Yeah.
and she attacks the X-Men, in part because he latches onto some of her anger and bitterness over what happened, and she's like, I'm the real Jean Grey. I'm just as much the. But eventually, she comes to realize, like, hey, the real Jean Grey is the one that should stay here, and she decides to leave and changes her name, like, eventually. So
To Madeline Pryor.
Madeline Pryor goes to work and live, we find out, on the mutant country of the island country of Genosha, which I think
Yes.
I'm trying to remember if they talked about that. I think they do bridge that a little bit in the newer X-Men movies. Like,
Oh, really?
I think a little bit. Like, you see maybe the beginnings of that in the Dark Phoenix movie that came out a few years ago.
I think so. I just
where
forgot.
Magneto is like trying to start, but it's not full-fledged yet. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like just the very beginnings of him trying to start, a place, a haven for mutants.
Yeah, I think you're right. I seem to remember that now. So, in I don't remember if it was episode 4 or not, but we eventually get to a 2-part episode with a very forgettable Jubilee centered episode, followed by a episode where Storm is trying to get her powers back but faces a demonic owl.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's about as far as I was, like the owl, like grabbing Storm, and like, yeah.
But
yeah.
we come back to that storyline later, but we're interrupted with the Genosha episode 5 event.
Yeah, and I did get through part of that where this is a big reveal, like the United Nations, which plays prominently in X-Men. Like, the United Nations has made a decision to accept Genosha as a member nation, which is a big deal. Like, it's like the mutants and what they're building there has been, like, recognized by the international community.
Yeah,
which is a big deal. So we see that kind of coming to fruition in episode 5.
So how far did you get in episode 5?
Didn't finish it. I know, like, they got there and like they meet Nightcrawler and they're like going on a tour of the city, etc. And I didn't get much past that.
Well, in this episode, Rogue reveals her her past with Magneto, which is heavily based on comic books.
Yeah, Rogue and Magneto were an item at one point.
Rogue and Magneto.
Mm-hmm. I think they played off that a little bit in the newer movies. They made it Mystique instead of Rogue.
Wait a minute! No. Isn't she too young for him?
No, it's like this. It's like this, Richard. In the comics, Magneto had a romance with both Rogue and her mother, Mystique.
Oh, wait, Rogue is her mother's Mystique?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, they definitely changed that in the movie.
Ew, there's a lot of ew happening in this series.
That's not okay.
Wait, so the blue lady is Rogue's mom. How come? Does Rogue know that?
In this series, by this point, yes.
Oh.
So the daughter is okay with getting the mom's sloppy seconds. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Ew.
Also, Nightcrawler is Rogue's brother.
Who?
Nightcrawler.
Like the blue guy that can vanish. Like,
does Rogue? I know who it is.
Okay. I didn't know how long it'd been since you'd seen the movies.
That came out when I was a youth, yes, Richard. So I was all about it.
Okay.
I was all about it. How old were you when it came out?
19, I think.
How old were you when it came out?
I think it was 2002, something like that it came out. The one with Nightcrawler. somewhere in there, 2002, 2003.
Yeah, I was
Well, if he was 19, I assume I was about 17.
13. I beat all of you. So does Rogue know that Nightcrawler is her brother? Because in the live action series, they don't.
Well, in the live action series, they've changed a lot of things. But in the comics and the animated series, yes, they are siblings, and they do know
So,
that they're
okay.
siblings.
Is Mystique Nightcrawler's mom?
Yes.
Is Nightcrawler hooking up with Magneto too? Is this happening? I just don't know what to expect anymore.
Well, I'm assuming he and Rogue are half siblings, not.
They're half siblings.
Yeah, Mystique is not Rogue's mom,
Okay.
correct?
Yes, Magneto is not anyone's mom because he's a man.
No, I mean like yeah, like he
You meant
dated
the same
Mystique, but then he had no connection to Rogue's mother.
I don't remember who the fathers are. I just know that Magneto is not Rogue's father. And
I hope not, because that's incest.
Yeah.
That's dirty
Yeah.
on dirty.
But yeah, lots of weird things. And the X-Men family tree is extremely convoluted.
Oh, is that what they're calling it
Wait a minute.
nowadays?
Wait a minute. For Nightcrawler to be Rogue's brother, that would have to mean that Mystique was her mom.
Yes.
So Mystique is her mom.
Yes.
I thought wait. Pause. I thought we just said that. Isn't
Okay.
that what we just said?
Okay, so Mystique is her mom, but she had Rogue with a different guy, not Magneto.
And not to blow your minds, but in the comics, since Mystique can shapeshift, sometimes she's a daddy. That's canon.
Can she be both a mommy and a daddy of the same person?
Can she spread her seed if she becomes a man?
Yes.
Can she?
Oh, that's weird.
No.
She's done that before.
What?
Things getting a little weird
I don't know
in
if
here.
I can watch this.
I had no idea.
Ew. How old is Mystique?
I don't know.
I think she's supposed to be close to Magneto's age, like maybe a few years younger. But she can. I think she have some regenerative properties where she can live a long time or something.
Probably.
There's a lot of other properties too. You know what I mean? Oh, Lee. Dirty Town. Man.
Damn.
I don't even know. I don't even know anymore.
So maybe we should get back to the animated series.
No, I want to talk about the scandal. I'm just kidding. You go whatever. Okay, so we're on episode 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Called Remember It. As Genosha prepares to join the UN, select members of the team head to the island nation to be honorees. Back at the mansion, a behind-the-scenes press event risks airing the X-Men's dirty laundry.
Okay, well. Can you
So,
pass the chocolate?
Does that include incest?
Well, I mean, man. All right, go ahead, Will.
Not this time. So, are you prepared for spoilers, Richard?
I guess so. Yeah, Laura's getting spoiled, so I might as well get spoiled too. I'm still gonna watch it though, because I'm involved now. I like it.
I'm not gonna watch it because I don't like cartoons.
Okay, that's fine. Well, speaking of cartoons,
no, it's not. Will, we have to try to convince her to watch it. That's the whole point, my friend.
Sure.
Well, I do want to see.
Watch it, Laura.
What?
Did you like Batman the animated series?
No, I don't like cartoons.
Wait,
blasphemy!
I don't think we've ever watched an episode together, have we?
No, because I don't like cartoons.
Oh, I'm gonna have to convert you now.
Huh?
So there were 2.
Shoot, we got to do an episode on Batman TAS. So I haven't done one in almost 2 years. So yeah, it's about time.
Yeah. So in the 90s, there were a few extremely good superhero shows, and X-Men is supposed to be on par with things like Batman. Now, whether or not it actually is on par with Batman the Animated Series is a personal opinion, but people have compared the two. Anyway,
Well, if it's as well done, like if the '90s series was as well written as this season is, then I could definitely see that. Or if it's close, at least.
well, I think it's better, but they did
Oh.
really keep the tone and stuff. I think the new season is better, but I haven't watched all the seasons of the original show. I got through about season 1 on Disney Plus, and then went and did other things and forgot. But I definitely watched the show as a kid and really enjoyed it.
Nice. I remember seeing an episode here or there, and I definitely knew of it. But yeah, I was more into Batman at the time.
Yeah.
More into DC in general. Although, well, like the main Marvel property that I did watch a lot of was the Spider-Man animated series
Yeah.
from the '90s. That is one. Which if they do a continuation of that too. Like I'm down for that.
They're talking about it.
Cool.
So I don't know if that'll happen or not. But let's just say this: Spider-Man, Peter Parker from that series does return in X-Men '97.
Ooh. Same same voice actor. Could you tell?
No, it was a voiceless, 2 voiceless cameos.
Oh, darn. Still, that's cool though. Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool. So getting back to what to episode 5, not Gamma, Magneto wants
Gandalf.
Gandalf. Yeah, Gandalf. Okay, Magneto wants Rogue to be his queen to rule over Genosha.
She's like, "Do you think that would mean we'd be getting together? Because no, we ain't."
Well, she decides to take him up on the offer, but then has a change of heart. When all of a sudden Sentinels rain death from the sky, thousands are murdered,
Oh shit!
including Nathan's mother. Madeline Pryor dies this episode.
Oh damn!
Wait. The clone?
The clone.
Yes. Cable, the futuristic cyborg man from the future, comes back in time to save Genosha, but is unable to do so.
Oh, Cable from Deadpool 2, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
He's unable to save Genosha. He has tried 200 times, but unfortunately, it's one of those canon events from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They actually talk about it being a canon event that can't be changed.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So thousands of people die. One of the X-Men, and I won't tell you who because I don't want to spoil that for you, but one of the main characters from all 5 of the original seasons from episode 1 dies.
Why would they kill him?
How do you know it's a he?
Or her? Them.
I want him to answer my question. Why would they kill him?
The Sentinel robots are out to kill all mutants.
Yeah, they like from the.
I know.
Okay.
I've seen it with you like a zillion times. Zillion.
Did you watch the ones with Jennifer Lawrence in them too? I was trying to remember. Because there is one that has Sentinels in it.
Jennifer
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, where she plays Mystique.
Babe. Yeah. I watched it with you. Wow.
Not a lot. Like
babe,
maybe
we've
once.
been married a minute, okay?
Yes,
and we've watched like that same episode multiple times. Because remember, that was the
only
one you had on your laptop.
That's right, Days of Future Past. Okay, so yeah, the Sentinels. Mm-hmm.
So Magneto is unable to stop the Sentinels, and he has to watch as a child dies in front of him, and presumably he also is dead. In the aftermath of the attack on Genosha, the world is uneasy about mutants. I don't know why they are. I don't know why they turn against the mutants after the attack on Genosha instead of rallying to their defense or something. But basically, the whole world turns their backs on mutant kind after the attack on Genosha.
Mm.
Mr. Sinister and a mystery character named Bastion turn out to be behind the attack on Genosha.
Mm.
New Sentinels are being made. This time, they are being put inside of human bodies.
Ooh.
Humans have babies, and the babies are Sentinels.
Ew.
So therefore, Cable comes back in time to try to prevent a future in which mankind is itself the Sentinels and wipes out mutants.
Oh.
When a mutant gets near a Sentinel possessed human, the human Sentinel will activate,
Oh.
turning into a robot, and to wipe out the mutant in its proximity.
Does the human
Hmm.
sentinel know what it is?
I don't think they have any memory.
Oh, it's like Battlestar Galactica and the Cylons, somewhat. Like the Cylons didn't know, not all the Cylons knew they were Cylons until they got
Right.
activated.
Exactly.
Highly recommend that series, by the way, nerds. If you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. It's on Amazon Prime.
So
Not a
eventually,
sponsor.
Magneto escapes his prison. He's imprisoned by Mr. Sinister and Bastion. He goes to the North Pole and reverses the magnetic poles of the planet, shutting off all electricity, sending the planet back to the Dark Ages, shutting down all Sentinels. Unfortunately, the planet is dying. Charles Xavier must come back from outer space in order to stop Magneto, who is hurling an asteroid down on the planet to destroy all life on the planet. Magneto has basically lost it after the genocide on Genosha.
Mm.
Uh, so that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's a really intense last 5 episodes after the
Dang.
genocide
yeah.
of Genosha. And I don't want to spoil too much more, but
Well,
there
we only got
is
5 minutes anyway, so
there is a cliffhanger. Obviously the heroes are able to save the day in the end, but there is a cliffhanger opening the door for future seasons. But for some reason, Disney fired Bo DeMaio,
huh.
and they need to bring him back.
Darn Disney.
Cliffhanger is Xavier is Mystique's dad. We all saw that coming.
Well, I know he was her, sort of became her adopted brother, kind of, sort of, in the reboot live action series. But he kind of adopted her himself as a sibling.
It's not okay.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's comic canon or not.
Probably not.
Why can't everyone just be the same and it just everything?
Why can't it just be Charles in charge? Why can't Charles be in charge?
Because he's white,
The
Richard.
world would be a better place if Charles Xavier. Oh yeah, another.
And that reminds me, some of the X-Men actually betray the team and join Magneto at the end of the first season.
Oh yeah, I mean after genocide, like I could see that. Like he'd be very angry. Understandably so. Damn.
Yeah.
Of course, if they found out Sinister was responsible and not the humans, although if the humans, like you said, they turned on them anyway, instead of showing them sympathy or empathy.
Yeah, I don't even know why they turned on them after the genocide on Genosha. I was kind of confused about that.
I mean, I could think of a reason, like I'd be afraid that, oh, if they think we did this, now they're going to come after us, whoever's left.
Yeah.
I could see that, maybe trying to preempt it. But yeah, you would think some humans would have showed sympathy.
I think we should move on to ratings.
Yes, yeah. So we are at 2.5 minutes here. So we'll obviously you've seen the entire season. If you were to give it a nerd hat rating, what would you say?
I don't know. For a cartoon series, um, given the serious tone and more adult themes that started coming in the last 5 episodes, I'd say that I don't know. It was really well executed, which is why it's been greenlit to have 2 more seasons.
Nice.
Wow.
Um, like I said, hopefully they'll get Bo DeMaio back because he obviously knows what he's doing as a showrunner.
Yeah, like even the
yeah.
first, just seeing the first 4 episodes, I could tell that. It was like, this is good. And
Yeah.
yeah, for me, like
So
just based on what I saw, like I would give it 4 out of 5 myself.
yeah, I'm thinking 4.5 for myself. I don't want to
Nice.
give it a 5, but I feel like it's at least a 4. So I'm
Oh,
giving
definitely.
it a 4.5.
Yeah, and it's
Nerd
well
hats.
rated by critics as well, it seems, and by IMDb rates it well. It's like up there in the 8s and 9s.
Yeah,
Out of 10. Out of 10.
supposedly Disney didn't think that anybody would really care about the show, but obviously after it aired, they did.
Oh yeah, like all us millennials that grew up with it or around it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're down to a minute. What were you gonna say?
I was also going to give it a 4 because now I kind of want to see it because
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm curious.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good.
I'm curious.
All right, so the consensus is minimum of 4 out of 5 nerd hats. Will is creeping up more to 4.5, so average out that comes at something like 4.17 nerd hats between the three of us. So that's very solid rating. So we recommend it, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's on Disney Plus.
Not a sponsor.
Until next time, nerds. Live long and prosper.
Sayonara.
I still am not sure what to say. Bye.
Bye. Hey nerds, Richard here. I just want to take a minute to say thank you for listening to this episode. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time listener, we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join us as we get together and talk about movies, TV shows, comic books, manga, you name it. We have fun, and we hope you did too. So thank you so much for listening. I'd like to ask, wherever you're listening, whether that's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, etc., take a moment to follow our podcast or like it or subscribe, whatever your particular app allows. And if you can, give us a rating as well. Let us know what you think. That really helps us to get the podcast out to even more new listeners such as yourself. So we would really appreciate that. If you're on social media, as I am, you can find us there. On Instagram, we are at NerdHatPod. On Facebook, we are NerdHat. And if you don't like social media, but you still watch YouTube, you can find us there too. We are NerdHat Entertainment. That's our channel there. We have some old video episodes as well as some video content from Instagram, Reels, and the like that I've created, downloaded, and then re-uploaded to the YouTube, and I have some fun with it. I do impressions and voiceovers and the like. You guys know me, so just go check it out, have some fun while you wait for our next episode to come out. And until then, thank you so much, and as always, live long and prosper.